Hello everybody, I'm your brother 9, and welcome back to Sonic Adventure DX. In the last episode, we finished the game! We did it! We got all 130 emblems, you can see them right here. Check it, look at that, 100%, all of them, and we also got all the missions, but that was in the last episode. We just got the last one, the very last emblem, in the last episode. And in this episode, we're gonna be checking out a little bit of the bonus stuff. You know, we did get all those emblems for a reason, hopefully. I mean, some games you don't get anything for completing the game, but we did get something for this, and what we got is the opportunity to play as Metal Sonic. Yes, if you go into Trials and you go to the adventure part of Trials, you can go in to Metal Sonic, who is really just Sonic. We can choose to play any of these stages. You can't play them chilling out in the overworld, but you can go to any of these stages. Well, let's check out Speed Highway. Speed Highway is a good stage. I don't actually know how different Metal Sonic is. I think he has a slightly maybe slower top speed, maybe? I don't remember exactly, but he's really not that much different from Sonic. It's just an aesthetic thing. It's pretty cool to see him, you know, you get to play as him, and I'm pretty sure this is the first time? I could be wrong, I don't know a lot about the 2D Sonic games, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time you can play as Metal Sonic in something, and it's honestly, like, super, super cool, because Metal Sonic is a boss, and he's one of the coolest characters, in my opinion, in the Sonic franchise, so I think it's pretty legit how you can play as him. He's even got all of Sonic's, like, abilities, so, like, we can even do this and get ourselves a couple of rings in a row, maybe? Right here, these 4 rings. Yeah, so it's pretty cool, but I mean, there's nothing to it other than aesthetic stuff, just a nice little skin. Is it worth it for 130 emblems? No, not in the slightest, but I mean, at least we got him, right? But whatever, we have other things we want to check out. I'm not gonna play through this whole stage or whatever. It's a fun stage, but we're not gonna do that, because there are other things that we got too. Stuff mainly from doing missions. So let's, actually, why we don't need to go to missions, it's our minigame collection. We've been seeing this, like, throughout the whole time. I think you get them for, well, not just missions, but like every 20 emblems, I think it was, that we started to get some of these. So there are a bunch of Sonic games here. These are all, it says this is a minigame collection. It's not your typical mini-games, it's literally just smaller games is what it's trying to get at. There are many games in here because these are full games. This is the full game of Sonic the Hedgehog, this is the full game of Sonic Drift, Sonic Chaos, Spinball. These are full games right here, and there's a good amount of them. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 whole games you can play right here, and some of these are seeing their very first time released in the English version, in English in America. They're seeing their very first release in America. I'm pretty sure like Sonic Drift is one. I don't know a lot about these games. As I said, I'm not too huge on the 2D Sonic games. I mean, I've actually never played any of the 2D Sonic games, and I haven't played a lot of the 3D Sonic games either. I've dabbled in some of them here and there, but Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 is pretty much what I know of the Sonic series. I've played a little bit of other things. So I can't give like a good description of these games, and I'm not going to go through and play each of them because they're full games. There's a lot of game here, but I will go through and talk about each one individually and just a little bit of what they are. So first off, we have Sonic the Hedgehog. This is the original Sonic the Hedgehog, but it's not actually the original Sonic the Hedgehog. See, the original Sonic the Hedgehog was released on the Sega Genesis, I'm pretty sure, and it was 16-bit, but they re-released it on like the Sega Master System, I think it was, and the Game Gear, which is what all these games are. This is the entire Game Gear library of Sonic games, by the way, I didn't mention that, but now you know. And they re-released the original Sonic the Hedgehog on the Game Gear, and it was, instead of being 16-bit, it was an 8-bit type of the game. And other than that, I'm pretty sure there's not much of a difference in the game. I think it's pretty much the same game throughout. But the next game we have is Sonic Drift. Sonic Drift was originally only a Japanese game until I'm pretty sure this is it's this iteration that it's seeing its first time coming to actually anywhere outside of Japan. So that's pretty cool. It's just a kart game back on the Game Gear. It's kind of like where the because we had that Twinkle Park stage that had that kart mini game we did. That is getting its inspiration from Sonic Drift. So that's pretty cool, I guess. And then we have Sonic Chaos, which this is, I'm pretty sure, Sonic and Tails in Japan, but it's known as Sonic Chaos in North America, and it's the first time that in any kind of Sonic 8-bit game that Tails was featured as a playable character. And so yeah, I don't know, it's pretty cool. It's alright, just another Sonic game. Then we have Sonic Spinball, which is just a Sonic pinball game. I don't think there's much more to that. Spinball is supposed to be like a combination of pinball and spin dash, which is clever. I always dig that. And I guess there's one thing interesting about it is that there's a cartoon. There were two cartoons that Sonic had back around the time that this game was coming out, which one was, I think, just called Sonic the Hedgehog, and then there's another one called like Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog or something like that. And then this is one of two games that actually has like stuff from those cartoons in it. The other one we'll actually see later on in this list of games. But other than that, it's really just a pinball game. Then we have Sonic Labyrinth, which is oddly a like puzzle platforming kind of game. I don't know. It's really weird. You can't, as it says right here, Sonic's lost his ability to run or jump, so you just kind of go around this weird, like, I don't know, isometric view game doing puzzles. It's really weird. It's absolutely ridiculous. But then we have Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which, like the other Sonic the Hedgehog, is it's an 8-bit redone. They redid the 16-bit original Sonic the Hedgehog 2, made it 8-bit, and this is the game. But I actually think I'm not entirely sure about my info that I'm about to spit out right here, so don't take everything I say word for word, but I'm pretty sure this actually has a different story than what the original Sonic the Hedgehog 2 has. I'm pretty sure that's correct. I don't know for sure, but that might be a thing. Next up, we have Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, which is, I'm pretty sure, the only game on this list that isn't, it doesn't have Sonic in the game. I'm pretty sure this is the only game that Sonic is not featured in this game. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine is actually a game called Puyo Puyo? I think that's how you say it. But it was, in Japan, that's what the game was called, is Puyo Puyo. But then in America, they decided to like make it into Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, because I guess they didn't think Puyo Puyo would do very well, but they're like, yo, Sonic's popular in America right now, let's turn this into something Sonic related. And this, as I said earlier with, I think it was Sonic Labyrinth, but it might not have been Sonic Labyrinth, it might have been Chaos. But Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine takes aspects from the two cartoons that I mentioned, the like Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon and Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. It takes aspects from those two cartoons, and it's the other game that does that. So it's interesting because it doesn't have Sonic, and it's like a cover over of a different game, kind of like the the Super Mario Bros. 2 is kind of like that one Doki Doki Panic or something game, something like that. I don't know. I'm shouting all sorts of weird information here. Don't listen to me. Next up, we have Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble, which is just as it says, fourth action game on the Game Gear. It's a game that features Knuckles, which is awesome because Knuckles is a fantastic character. So there's another fun Sonic the Hedgehog game. It's more like the original Sonic the Hedgehog, but now you got some Knuckles in there. You know, you go get your Chaos Emeralds with the group, the squad. Next up, we have Sonic Drift 2, which is just a sequel to the original Sonic Drift. They added some characters, which they added Knuckles, they added Fang the Sniper, and then Metal Sonic, which is actually, I was talking about this earlier. This is probably the first time that Metal Sonic was first playable in a game. Like, I guess it is. I don't think Sonic Drift. Well, of course, Sonic Drift 2 came out before Sonic Adventure, but I don't think like there's any other game before this that Metal Sonic was playable. So yeah, it's probably Sonic Drift 2 that Metal Sonic was first playable. Then we have Tails Sky Patrol, which I'm pretty sure is another game that was not released in America until right now in the Sonic Adventure minigame collection here that I'm showing off. It's a spin-off, and it's actually a prequel to the whole like Sonic series as a whole, so it's kind of before everything, and it as you might tell from the title of the game, Tails Sky Patrol, it's actually Tails is like the main character, and he's like trying to save an island from some weird witch cart, I guess it is, the witch, and it's kind of weird. It's a like platform adventure game, so it's still kind of got like Sonic aspects, but you're playing as Tails, whatever. Next up, we have Sonic Blast, which I actually don't know like anything about this. It's here. Let me go look something up real quick. Let me find some info on this, and then I can like show you what Wikipedia tells me. Well, Wikipedia tells me that this is just another Sonic game, but it's called Sonic Blast, and well then, I guess that's something. It's also the last like Sonic game that was made for the Game Gear, I guess, and it's like the second last like officially licensed game for the Sonic, or for the Game Gear. The only other one that came after this, which was the last one, was the Lost World Jurassic Park. So hey, cool little trivia there for you, but not like it really matters. Then this last game we have here in our little minigame collection is Tails Adventure, which is actually an action-adventure game with some kind of role-playing elements, and it's got Tails as the main character, so yeah, take that as you will. I don't know, there are a bunch of weird games here, and you can play them all if you so wish, if you happen to, you know, like get all those emblems, so that's what you get. That's what you get for doing all that. So yeah, I guess that's everything we got for completing this game. There's nothing else really to talk about. Oh, actually, there is one thing I want to mention. Some little like kind of like beta, no, I guess not beta, but like stuff found in the game. There are like voice clips found in the game of Tikal, or they're all Tikal. That's these voice clips of. I know how to do words. Don't worry. Tikal. There are voice clips of Tikal saying stuff about like how to activate Super Sonic. So it's probably like originally a feature that anytime in the game you could activate Super Sonic if you got maybe like an upgrade or something, or if you got a certain amount of rings, because that was kind of a thing back in old Sonic games, is that you could actually you got like I think it's a certain amount of rings, you could turn it into Super Sonic in whatever stage you wanted to. So it might have been some kind of cool feature that they were going to implement, but I guess they decided, nah, we're not going to do that. We're just going to make it this final story here, and you'll do it for that final boss, which, I don't know, is okay too. I kind of like it more doing it where it's like, this is the end of the game, now we got all the emeralds, now we're going to go super powered and do this. I don't think I'd like it as much if it just felt like an upgrade for every single stage, but, you know, what do I know? I'm not like a super huge Sonic fan. And actually, I don't know if I mentioned this any other time in the series, but I want to make sure I mention this too, because there's one last cool thing to talk about for the Sonic Adventure itself. Is since it was on the Sega, it was Sega Genesis, right? Whatever Sega, there's so many Sega systems, I don't remember. Whatever Sega system this was on had the ability to do DLC. So there was actually some DLC for this game. They did like stuff celebrating like Halloween and Christmas, and at the time, since it was right before the turn of the century, they did stuff for was it Y2K or whatever. So they did some stuff in that. They were like, hey, support Sonic in 2K in 2000s, and then they went and did what they did with Sonic 06. So yeah, there's that, and I guess, well, that's pretty much everything I want to talk about. That's what we got for completing the game, and I guess it's all right. It's not the greatest. I think it's more satisfactory to say that, you know, you've completed the game, you've got all 130 emblems. That's my satisfaction. That's my reward. However, even though I have talked about pretty much everything in this game. There's one more thing that we need to do, and that's kind of why I said pretty much talked about everything in this game. The last thing we need to do isn't going to be done in this episode. I'm actually going to leave it for next episode because I want this episode to be short, and that episode's got quite a bit of stuff that I want to talk about. It's going to be the last Chow episode. We have not seen the Chow with their second evolutions, and there's a couple other things I want to talk about with the Chow too that we have yet to talk about. I've kind of hinted at them before. I even might have talked about them a little bit, but there's still more Chow stuff to come, and we will get to that in the very next episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was kind of all over the place. I don't know what I'm talking about for Sonic games, but I hope maybe you learned a little bit. Maybe you can correct me down in the comments below and tell me why I'm a horrible Sonic fan. I don't know anything about Sonic, and tell me about the actual games and what they are. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please click that like button. Remember, you can always click subscribe if you want to stay updated on my videos coming out, especially that Chow episode. It's gonna be so hype. I'm telling you, man. I hope I will see you in the next episode, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.